Good evening and welcome to the August board meeting of the Penfield Public Library Board of Trustees. We're happy that you are here with us this evening, and we have a fairly full agenda, so we will get right to it. Would anyone like to comment on the minutes? I trust we all read them. Does anybody have any revisions or comments on them, or do we have a motion to approve them?
I move to approve them.
Thank you, Judy.
The July.
And Jennifer?
I'll second.
Seconds. Thank you very much. And Neeraj, would you like to walk us through the financial report?
Sure. The first page that I'm going to refer to is the monthly balance sheet. Again, the purpose of this is to see how we are coming in on a revenue expenditure basis. As of July, our operating revenue is well within our approved budget. As you see, the Gift and Memorial Fund right now, the threshold is $140,000, and we're above it, so that's good, and it's largely unchanged from last month. The next sheet that I'd like to go is titled July 2021 Monthly Budget Summary. It's the 7th month of the year, so that's about 58% of the year. So 58% is a good threshold to kind of look at and look down to see how we're coming. Revenues, the largest line item is real property taxes. The actuals haven't populated yet, so it's kind of hard to analyze actual. The expense portion, I like to go down all the way to the end, first of all, just to see the forest. And it's coming in at 52%, so that's already 6 percentage points better than the 58% that we budgeted. I like to focus in on the largest component, which accounts for more than 50% of our budget, which is the wages and salaries. That's coming in right in line at 56%, compared to our threshold, our standard of 58% in July. The second largest controllable expense is materials, and that's coming in about 44%, so that's considerably better in variance analysis compared to our 58%. And I assume there's going to be more purchases probably later in the year. Contractuals are less controllable, but still controllable. Is coming in at 44% of budget. Again, it's a favorable percentage. Benefits and everything else is coming in right in line. So in conclusion, it's a good month. Our total expenses are coming in favorable to budget. Wages are in line. The other major controllables are favorable. The assets, if we're looking at the next sheet, and that has our bank accounts. They're totaling the Family First Credit Union and the Canandaigua National Bank. That's at $159,000, and that's our total. There was one check written for $535, and that's to pay for the lighting of the sign, and that was cleared. That's pretty much it.
Do you want to move that we approve the finance
Yes,
report?
let's go ahead and move to approve what I just said.
Melissa will second. Thank you. This meeting is open to the public for viewing on Penfield Public Television, and the past meetings are available on YouTube for people who are interested. I don't believe we have any communications this month that I'm aware of. Linda, would you like to give the town liaison report?
Right. There's not a lot of difference from the last month. The thing is now, as we were discussing before the meeting started, it's going into fall now. So as Bunny knows, as you know, the directors have all been meeting with the town supervisor to talk about their proposed budgets, and we, the town board, will get their tentative budget before us come September, early September. So by the time we meet again, we'll have already gone through that first stage of approval of the budget for next year. So that's, in full swing. And, we were talking about, this has come out, this is the Penfield Recreation Fall brochure, and it came out today. And that's another sign of fall, because there's a lot of programs involved that begin on September 1st for registration, which is exciting. And tonight was the last concert of the concert series. I didn't drive by there. I think they still performed. They didn't, because it was raining and then it wasn't. But tonight was going to be the last night of it. And then the next concert of similarity is in September 11th will be the annual Taste in the Blues, which is always a fun event with, blues music and chili cook-off, I think, maybe. It all depends on, what we're doing in our health restrictions. But, so that's all happening. So there's a lot of, exciting things to look forward to, but it is also sad because budget season, this fall brochure, that's all signs that, our seasons are changing pretty quickly. So that's really all I have.
Thank you very much.
Unless you have any questions about something you heard about or saw, wanted.
Does anyone have any questions for Linda? Thank you for mentioning the budget. At a previous meeting, we approved the budget that we had for the library, and we found out that inadvertently we were working with numbers that weren't quite accurate. So in the interest of accuracy, we would like to submit the correct amount, and I'm going to turn that over to Neeraj.
Yeah, I'd like to move to approve a budget totaling $1,981,407, please.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Jennifer. All in favor? Okay. It was a pretty routine item, but we felt like we wanted to do that just to make sure that all our I's were dotted and T's were crossed. Do you have anything from personnel, Rachel?
No, nothing at this time.
Okay. The survey, Melissa, on strategic planning.
I received some feedback from Bunny. There were a couple just minor changes that I added to the survey questions. Barbara and I purchased a Survey Monkey for the library, so we have that now. And there's a webinar next week that we signed up for about how to build a better survey that we're going to both do and then start populating the questions. Is there anything else you wanted to add about that? Or
No. And I think we're going to give people about a week to respond. We're not going to keep this open forever. I mean, we'll take the bulk of the responses and work with those. I mean, we're always willing to listen to what people have to say. So any of you who are watching out there, be sure and watch for your survey. And we're going to be using a couple of different ways of getting the surveys out to people. Megan is not here tonight. She has moved to a new house today, or a new home, and said she was surrounded by boxes. So we do not have anything on bylaws or policy. And Denise is celebrating her wedding anniversary, so she is not here tonight. Which leads us to the director's report. Bunny?
Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
I was reading about the Great Give Back program. Is there anything that, if you think of anything that we can do to participate with you, is there anything that we can participate, as a board, can participate in with you for that program, the open house?
Julie Rapp and Natalie Birch are the chairs of that for arranging that, so I can take that offer back to them and see. I can't remember how meticulously I described it here, but it's kind of an open house, as I said, with stations.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to have a station, I could ask them about that to see if they could accommodate. I think they have room and they could do that if that's what you'd like to do.
Yeah, I just thought if you wanted our assistance and.
I'll just pass
See
it
where we
on
go.
in general and see what they say. I'll get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Bunny, do you know, are the Friends going to have a table
Yes.
at that? They are, okay,
Yes.
good.
They've indicated they want to have a table there.
Okay, good.
Do you know how the Friends Book Club or book sale is coming along?
I was able to free up the Bremen room for them. I had reserved that just in case the rec department needed to move their programs in from the community room where the big sale's going on.
Right.
But Andrew indicated to me this week that he was pretty sure they wouldn't want to use it for programs after all, so, and anything they might want to use it for, he might be able to just squeeze in someplace else, so to consider it liberated for them to use. So I offered that to them, and they were glad to have it. I think they're going to move the children's materials into that, so that gives them a little more breathing room over in the community room and gives them room to allow people to come in with strollers to the Bremen room. They were a little bit worried about whether they had enough tables, but I think I'd kind of like to keep the library tables in the Bremen room that we were going to allow them to use. They're going to try to get some tables from Recreation, and in the meantime, they have been able to secure tables from Nolan's. They ordinarily do business with Hank Parker, but there was a little problem with the delivery, being able to guarantee the delivery from Hank Parker, so they turned to Nolan's, and apparently Nolan's was able to accommodate them. So I had tried to maybe enlist some town help to help them deliver, but turns out that's not needed. They're going to be able to get their full complement from Nolan's. So they're proceeding with it, and we're able to put out some advertising for them. We've got it in on our website, in our social media, and we've got it on all our digital signs in the library. We've got the paper stuff out to help publicize it for them. So I'd say that's where they are. They could give you a better idea of that, but that's the feedback I get from them.
Oh,
Well,
that's good.
good
I
to
did
hear.
see that on social media. That was nice to see.
I also saw it in the rec catalog,
Yeah, I
too,
saw it
so
there,
that was
too.
good. Thank you for making sure it made it in there.
I wanted to know, I don't know if it was in previous directors' reports, but I enjoyed reading the programs in development section this time around. If it was in previous ones, then I might have missed it, but I kind of like to see that stuff, so that was good.
I had a question. Before, I think his name was Kieran was working, and he was working on a school project about using more positive language. And
Yes.
you had seemed enthusiastic about that. I know he has since left, but do you know if anyone is interested in continuing that kind of idea?
He left us the skeleton to do
Okay.
that without the school requirements attached. And Sarah Terry is the lead on that, and we've been swamped because we've been interviewing for our vacancies, and we've just been too busy to pick
Right.
that up. But she has the cudgel on that and
Okay.
is going to proceed with it. And I'll kind of keep in touch with her, make sure she arranges for us to proceed with that.
That's great. I'm glad to hear it's not dropping off with him leaving.
No, we were all very interested in that. I don't know how sophisticated we can get with it. We have a few examples put in front of us that we can use. And I'm also not sure, especially in light of the survey that you're going to be conducting, whether conducting a survey on the positive language is exactly the right approach for us to use. But I think there's a lot we can do without actually doing a patron survey on that, just our own observation, comparing it with some of the examples that we've got. And I think we can probably find plenty to work on before we have to go that route.
Wasn't there someone who came out a year or two ago that walked around with you and identified touch points where,
I think it was Matt Kruger.
okay, I couldn't remember the
From
name,
the
but is that
Arundel
something he
Library?
might have some expertise in?
I'm not sure if you're asking if we have fallout from that, or it's something you'd like us to do again?
Well, if you're looking at ways to, I guess, improve the language in the library so that it's more positive, if he's somebody who would have experience in doing that, since he was the one that,
Let me ask the system. Sometimes also the Regional Library Council has people who can look at things like that with kind of an objective eye. I can check with the people at the Library Council to see if maybe they could have someone come over and pick out those particular things. That's a good idea.
Bunny, this course that several of our librarians are going to, these online workshops fostering anti-racist library culture. Do you know what that's about?
Well, yes, because I was the one who made them aware that it was available. It's a library journal set of workshops. They're going to be looking at different aspects of services in the library, so our collections, our staffing. Those two in particular stick with me as part of the description of the workshops, and it'll be a series of 3 workshops that they'll be attending, and presumably they'll come out of it. They have work to do. It's just like going to a class or something. So they'll have work to do from it, and presumably they'll come out of it with something to present to the rest of the staff as areas we can work on. I've been promised by Library Journal that they will keep our group of 7 together working, just as you might have a group in a class if you were in school or something. So they'll be able to work together. They'll each know what the other one is talking about if they can stay working together, and they should have something to present at the end of that for some
Maybe they
suggestions
can come and talk to us too about what they learned, just to enlighten us on, where we should be or where we are in this, in these new times. So, okay, good.
Are there any other questions for Bunny? Thank you very much for your report. Under new business, I have reached out to SurveyMonkey, and I'm setting that up. So once it's fully set up, I will send everyone a password, and it'll be something that we will all remember and that we can all use. And Bunny, I will send that to you also in case you or the staff would have any need for it.
I couldn't hear the last part of what you said, Barbara. The staff and
I will send you the link and the password to SurveyMonkey in case you or the staff would have any need for it.
Great, thank you.
I don't know, I hope all of you got this postcard from the New York Library Association. A couple years ago, they had their annual meeting in Rochester, and I went, and I thought the workshops were really terrific. And I don't know, Jennifer, if you're going to get to go with your new position, but it is in Syracuse this year. It offers continuing ed credits for, not that we need them for being a trustee, but I think it is helpful if we can go. It's Thursday and Friday. Well, it says it's the 3rd through the 6th. One day is more of a trade show, and then there is a day of seminars. There will be something online. We can sign up. If we sign up early, there is a cost benefit, and we will see about reimbursements. Maybe we can do that for our board members who decide to go. And Bunny, I don't know, do you go to this?
I haven't gone in a few years.
Well, I thought maybe if we have a group going, we might want to carpool for one day or so forth. So anyhow, just something to think about early November. The keynote speaker is Hidden Valley Road Inside the Mind of an American Family. I don't know what that's about. And there's also an author who has written a book called Orphan Train. But most of the workshops are very hands-on and have very helpful information.
Yeah, it was a great conference. We went a couple years ago. The last time it was here, it was great.
Yes. And also, I don't know if all of you got the emails from the Monroe County Library System, but there's a series of workshops coming up September, October, November, and I signed up for them all, and now I can't remember what they're on, but they seem to be topics that would be really helpful to us. So if you can check your email and see if you didn't get those, let me know and I will forward. Neeraj?
Yeah, I don't think I got.
I didn't get it either.
I didn't get one either.
Okay, well, in that case, let me forward my email to each of you. And
Thank you.
I also did not get the postcard about,
I don't think I got it either. I don't remember.
well, that's why I brought it, because I wanted to make sure as many of us who wanted to go could go.
maybe you could just take a picture of it and send it to us
I will
all.
take a picture of it and send it. And I will find the link and email that too. Okay. One thing I forgot to ask, we need to approve an item, Neeraj. We have a consulting board development cost of $3,352.50 to approve. Do we have a motion to approve that? Thank you, Rachel. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thanks, Neeraj. All in favor? Thank you. And in your packets, I sent out, or with the email, I sent out information from Bonadio. Someone had made a suggestion a year or so ago that we might look into the possibility of having an audit. And thanks to Melissa, I got the name of the person who had worked with Mary, Kathy Weber, Bunny, and
Lynn, I think. Right?
Lynn, and somebody whose name I didn't recognize. And he's a partner in Bonadio's office in Pittsford. And he sent Randy Shepard, he sent the materials that his firm prepared in 2016, which is 5 years ago. And I thought it was very helpful. And he asked a couple of interesting questions. One was, do we really need an audit? And I thought, well, that's an interesting question. I'm not sure that we need an audit. What we need is we're trying to we keep going through our procedures. Are our procedures and processes that the board follows as up-to-date and as efficient as they could be? And Bonadio looks at any number of things besides just doing an audit. So I wanted you to read this and let me know if you think it would be helpful to have an informal meeting with Mr. Shepard. And he said he would be happy to come. He also handles the audit for the town of Penfield. And so he was saying he thought that our books were probably fine. We're not looking for anything we're just looking to make sure our processes are efficient and that we are following accepted business practices. And that, I think, might be helpful. But we need to, he wanted us to know that we can have him look at that, we can have his firm do an audit, or we can have them do a combination of both. So I think that would be a topic for discussion. And if you guys are interested, I'll set up an informal meeting just so we can hear from him. I mean, I don't, Bunny, you were part of this group. Did you find that helpful?
Yes, very much so, because at the time we wanted to revamp our cash handling policies, so we were able to take a lot of the suggestions that he made and incorporate those into our cash handling policy.
Yeah, and, it's been 5 years. I don't think that anybody's doing anything wrong. I just think that it's helpful every once in a while to have an outside expert look at us and say, oh, if you just tweak this, or you guys are doing a great job over here. I'm hoping to hear a lot more of that than anything else, but, you never know. So I will do that. And with the book sale and all the publicity that the book sale has gotten and the support from Bunny and the library staff, do we feel that we have done what we can for the Friends, or is there something more we can do?
Do you know how many volunteers how many volunteers they have accumulated to help them?
I don't know. They have a chair of a committee that pursues their previous people who've worked on it, and I haven't heard from them how they're doing with enlisting the volunteers for that.
I don't have any set numbers right now because they have to wait for school to start, but we did get approval from the Leo's Club, which is the service organization at the high school.
Oh, right.
And I do have some other volunteers for them from St. Joseph's Church, from the confirmation kids. So there's a small group that I have from there too. So I have to reach out. I was just waiting for school to start for things to, I know that that's going to be kind of close for them, but because they're kind of waiting, the advisor for the Leo's Club is waiting till school begins to reach out to the kids from that group.
Well, that'll be helpful. I know ordinarily Janet Flanagan, one of the chairs of the book sale, has connections to the athletic teams at the high school, and she usually enlists them to help them move all the boxes over to unload them, but I don't know exactly where they are with that.
That's what they said that these kids were going to be doing, moving boxes, because some of the sale happens during the school day. So they won't be able to do that, but they'll be able to help set up for sure. So.
I can say my husband every year makes phone calls. He gets a list, they send him, and, we make phone calls, so he's making them right now. So you think about that, they're making the phone calls now, who they don't get, depending on,
Yeah.
This would probably be great for them, right?
Yeah.
What you're talking about, because, there may not be as many people as there normally is, just because we haven't had it in a couple of years and what we've been going through for health. But, yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing that you wait until the school starts just for that. But you might want to let them know, or Bonnie can, because she sees them more, that there is this opportunity out there. That's
I
very
think
helpful.
I have reached out already, but they gave them an idea. But I just wanted you to know that they have that the Leo's Club is signed up to help.
It's great.
That is good, and especially given the very physical activity that's involved with some of those jobs of carrying books, reaching down, picking them up, putting them on tables, and so forth. So that's really good. Thank you. We had a couple of follow-up items from July, and I wanted to just ask, Adam Traub you said was willing to share the list. Can we use that as a mailing list?
Yes.
For the survey?
Yes.
Oh, good. Thank you for doing that, Bunny.
Yeah, thank you.
And did you have a chance to ask the staff if they wanted to visit other facilities?
Yes, I have 3 interested parties. Peggy O'Neill, Danny Galens, and Lara Jacoby would like to form a little group. I know they reached out today they've been really busy this summer. They reached out today to Adrian Pettinelli at Henrietta, the director there, and asked if they could come in a group, and they gave her a little hint about what they wanted to talk to her about. They want to talk about fines and fees and their magazine collection and million other little things they want to ask her. They probably have more than that even on the list they gave her. And so they're waiting to arrange a time with her to go. They're thinking September for that. I did tell them that they could do that on library time, and I would pay them the mileage to go back and forth, so a reasonable amount of time to tour the place and travel time. I did tell them they had to do it in a body. I didn't want one person going. It had to be more than one person. So they do have this 3-person group now, and I wanted a written report afterward. So we'll wait and see when they get a date from Adrian, and they're hoping to go visit the new Chili Library. I will probably beat them there because our Directors Council meeting in September is at the Chili Library, so I'll get a sneak peek, but they want to arrange with Jeff to tour that too, possibly after they've gone to Henrietta. She mentioned a third one too, and I can't think what the third one was they were aiming for, but they, one step at a time, they'll go to these one by one and give us some reports.
I had a chance to go to the Chili Library with a friend, and it is quite amazing. It is a wonderful building, and it's the rec center, the senior center, and the library all in one building. And the one thing that it has that Penfield really lacks is meeting space. And there's a second floor that has a big meeting room and a couple of really tiny rooms and some medium-sized rooms, and then a place where you could have, that's probably about the size of the town hall auditorium here, where you could have a large meeting. And I thought, wow, that is really wonderful for the people. It's nothing to do with the library. The library itself was wonderful also, but the whole facility was quite spectacular.
Yes, they definitely took a page out of Irondequoit's book on that Irondequoit was built around the idea that the town needed meeting space, and so Chili definitely followed suit with their design too. They had the same architect, so that probably helped.
Yes, I think so. I think so.
Yeah, it's a great place.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, no, I was just making a comment.
Moving forward, could you include the attendance figures from a couple of years ago with the attendance figures for the current events so we can see what the trends are? I mean, some programs and events are going to attract more people than others, but we'd like to see over time, which ones seem to be working. If people love the tea and poetry, I think that's great. And I'd like to see I just want to see what the numbers are, and that's the only one I can think of right off the top of my head. But I know there are some book groups that are well attended, and I just want to, so we can show a pattern.
Okay.
That would be helpful. And I haven't had a chance to really look at the materials that Deanna sent out today of the new programs to see if the Friends are credited on there. Since I've been retired, I don't turn my computer on every day.
Well, I think our children's programs for this summer seem to have been a huge success.
Yes.
They, and even the young adults. I mean, I know the attendance is low, but there's certainly a lot of offerings out there.
Absolutely. I think the offerings are great.
Right.
I'd just like to have something to back that up.
Right, to compare to. Yeah.
And then the last thing on this list is, were you able to talk to Todd and Kathleen about how they are feeling safety-wise?
Yes, I did ask them that you requested a written statement from them, and so the ball is in their court.
Okay, we just want to know, because they were so concerned before, and we just like to be assured that they're comfortable at the present time. So, thank you for doing that. And we are now up to the claims payment. section,
me.
which is Melissa.
Yep. I would like to move that we approve the vouchers in the amount of $12,081.80.
And do we have, thank you, Jennifer. All in favor, say, raise your hand. Thank you. And after Melissa, the next person is Megan. So I will send Megan an email and tell her that she is on tap for next month to do the claims. Is there any other business? Any other comments that anyone has?
I have a question, and it's
Okay.
really a question. We receive, each of the librarians writes down what new sources they have purchased, and then it says deleted 14 items or deleted 27 items. What are those books, or what's deleted? Do we?
Deleted means withdrawn from the collection, and there can be many reasons why we take things out of the collection. Materials become worn.
Right.
Materials where currency is important become outdated, so we withdraw those from the collection. We can't keep buying things and not withdraw things from the collection. That's just as an important facet of collection development as the acquiring of materials. So those are the deletes that they're talking about.
So what happens to these items? I mean, do we give them to the, can we donate them to the Friends, or
That's
do
where
we
they,
don't?
that's
Oh,
where they go, if they're
okay.
in decent shape. Sometimes it's the dog chewed it up, and
Right.
we need to, and the Friends can't sell that, so that just gets recycled. But
Right.
yeah, any ordinary deletes that are withdrawn from the collection because they're superfluous copies or something
Right.
like that, those go directly
Yeah,
to the
it was
Friends.
just a curiosity question. I was wondering, how we could reuse some of those materials, especially since the Friends, they're kind of low on what they need, so.
You'd think with the number of materials we withdraw from our collection, we would form the lion's share of their inventory. We do not. The lion's share of their inventory that they sell in the book sale comes from donations. It's that, we get that many donations, so, but they do get all our
All our leftovers.
deletes.
Okay.
Yep.
It's just curiosity.
And I know this wasn't really on the agenda, but Bunny had mentioned that two of people from Plan Architecture came through the library and did some measuring and took
Yes.
photos.
Yes, and the young lady came back at a later date. She missed a couple of things, the detail on a couple of things that she wanted, so she came in last week, I think, for about half a day and caught some things she missed the first time around. So, yeah, they're taking a lot of pictures and doing a lot of measuring. They had a lot of fancy tools for measuring, lasers and goodness knows what all else, yeah.
And I, just so everyone is aware, I have had an email yesterday from Chris Lopez, and we had asked him to consider using the results of our survey in coming up with a plan. So he's not going to meet with anyone, the staff or the board, until after he has the survey results. And then I think he's going to schedule a series of meetings because it's very important for the staff to be involved. And he will probably reach out to you just like they did with coming to the library. We don't need to be involved in that, but he does want to have the results of our survey. Is there any other business, any other questions? Deanna?
I did want to share, Barbara, after reviewing the September programs, there is right on top of the calendars, it does say thank you to our program sponsor, Friends of the Public, the Penfield Public Library.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's in larger print.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
good.
I do have extra copies if anybody would like any.
That's what happens. I just saw the email came through, and I'm just reading
Right.
the top, the summary
Yeah.
line, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't have to look at that. And I've really been lazy since it's only been 2 weeks, so I'll get better again. If there is no other business, then the meeting is, do we have a motion for the meeting to be adjourned? Rachel? Neeraj seconds? Okay. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.